Today's project is to take this galvanized metal here into the kitchen, and it's going to cover up all this crap. So this whole wall, and then out 2 foot 2 inches that way, and out 2 foot 2 inches this way. One of the challenges will be down in this corner here, because this piece of trim is going to have to be cut back, and then I'm going to be dealing with some exposed floor. And I have this gap, which is normal for linoleum. It usually gets covered up with quarter round, but I'm going to have my galvanized metal that has a wave in it. So every time that wave comes in, you're potentially going to see this floor. So I got to do something with that. Probably going to trim this back and then put a little piece of linoleum in here for that space. I have my safety glasses on. Don't try this anywhere, but what movie does this remind you of? Safety glasses on the head, not on your eyes. Next is our first challenging piece of corrugated metal in the kitchen, because it's going to have to be trimmed off over this way, and then it's going to have a big corner notch here. This will come out 2 feet 2 inches, or about 2 feet because of this overlap. But I have to cut this out, and it has to be as wide as this and then as tall as this, minus these tabs on the top and bottom. I ended up with a couple little nicks in the metal, right here and right here. They're not really nicks, they're just kind of bent a little bit. So I'm going to take 2 hammers, put one down here, and just tap that flat. There we go. So now I have to cut out some of this corrugated metal for this box right here. So what I did was I made a couple marks up here where you're not going to see it, a couple green marks, so I know where to measure from whenever the galvanized metal is covering this. And then over here also, I did the same thing. I just put a mark here and a mark here. So I measure to this edge, and then when the metal is on there, I'm using the same point to measure from. So I'll show you what I mean. Right now we have 8 3/8 inches over. So we're going to put our metal up. And this will be a little easier with 2 people, but we can still get it done. So that's where I want my metal. And I'm going to measure from that same spot. So 8 3/8. There's one of my left edge for cutting out that box. So now I have my marks to work with, and I have a little drawing. So on this metal, right here is my mark to measure from here over. My other mark to measure over. Up here is my first mark to measure down, second mark to measure down. And I put 2 screws in so I don't have to hold this with my left hand anymore. And then over here is my drawing. So from this left edge, I already have this marked. But from here to the right edge of the box, it's 12 and 5/16. Same thing down here. And then from my wood up top, down to the top of the box, here and here, is 8.75 plus a tiny little bit. And then to the bottom of the box is 12 and 9/16. So from up here down to here, 12 and 9/16 for this spot and this spot. So I'm going to mark that now. Dremel to finish it off. There we go. So let's see what happened. Yeah, that looks pretty freaking good. I'm happy with that. Put the screws to it. I used my wife's knee pad to patch this hole in the wall here. It's going to be covered up by the galvanized metal, like that. So we'll see if I can get that piece installed before she gets here.